Stats. They're meant to be a definitive explanation of playing, but it rarely ends up being that way. In this video, I'm going to talk about what stats are, how you can help your athlete by keeping them, and what college coaches are actually looking at. There are two main types of stats that we'll be covering: physical stats and volleyball stats. Both can be done in so many different ways. Do you measure with shoes on? Do you step into a block touch? What is an attack attempt? There are so many variables that make stats confusing. So, what do we do? First thing, we need to realize that college coaches understand that stats are subjective, meaning a lot of their value depends on the person that is taking the stats, both in physical and in volleyball stats. Some coaches will not even ask for volleyball stats, but most coaches will ask for physical stats. So, is it even worth collecting volleyball stats? Yes. Here's why. Even though the stats are subjective, they're also relative, meaning they will show an elevated ability compared to peers if their peer stats are taken in the same way. Let me explain a little more. A player on a team that is leading the team, district, conference, county, whatever, in kills is more than likely doing better in that position than their peers. So if college teams are made up of that athlete's peers, that athlete has already shown the ability to excel, making them more attractive to coaches. So if your athlete has someone that is keeping stats for them, but you know they're not consistent, you know that they are not showcasing everything that the athlete is truly doing, if they are that same consistency for their teammates or for other people that they're playing against and for other people that are getting recruited in their recruiting class, they're still viable stats because they show that the athlete is better than the other players. And essentially that's all stats are for, is to show a benchmark of ability in a numerical form. So if you are falling victim to a kid or someone else that is keeping stats for a team and intentionally giving better stats to certain people or players, it will be okay. It's not the best, obviously. There are better ways to go about it, but you can keep stats for your athlete yourself. In my college volleyball recruiting academy, I created a system that allows you to take stats directly on your phone while at a game, as well as tutorials that teach you what all the stats are and how to keep them. It's simple to use, formatted to take stats over multiple games so you could track their season. So those kids that have 1,000 assists or 1,000 hits or 1,000 digs or whatever, your kid could be one of those. So if you're curious about how to get your hands on that, head over to janiebolte.com, link is down below, and watch my free webinar to learn how. But let's continue moving on to more things stats. Now let's move on to physical stats. So physical stats are different within each position played. I'll go in a little bit more detail about what physical stats are looked at each position. Let's just start. There are physical measurements that tell coaches so much about your athlete. The most looked at stats for athletes that will be playing at the net are approach touch and block touch. There's a misconception that most coaches will just look at height, which coaches do look at height, but in actuality, they're more interested in these jump touch measurements. So if a player is on the shorter side for a front row player but has an approach touch of 10 foot or more, that's attractive measurement for coaches. I've seen players that are 6'5" and have no vertical, so their approach touch is less than 10 foot. So while the 6'5" looks great, it goes deeper than that. So let's move on to setters. Why do setters need to be tall? So it's rooted in the ability for setters to be a 6 rotation accessible player. If a setter is able to run the entire offense and be a defensive threat at the net and in the back row, that eliminates the whole need for a sub, and it keeps the offense steady. So a taller setter that has an adequate vertical will be able to block opposing outside hitters that are hitting 10-foot balls. Also, if a setter is tall, offensive capable threat, this throws off the defense. This can sometimes leave other hitters open and they can waylay on balls if the setter is paying attention to defense. Then there's also the fact that if a setter is taller, they have a quicker connection with their middle hitters. So the balls get transferred from set to hit faster, making them harder to block. Next position, what about a DS libero? Why is height a factor for them? Taller people typically have longer wingspans. Longer wingspans mean you can cover more ground and reach for more balls quickly. So height can be an advantage here. So do all volleyball players need to be tall? No. Volleyball players can be any height. It's all about how you use your abilities to accomplish a task. So do not let your athlete get discouraged if they're on the shorter side. If they're willing to put the work in, they're capable of matching athletes that are at a height advantage. Just to recap, we talked about game stats as well as physical stats. Now let's talk about what coaches actually care about. I wish I could give you just an across the board answer, but in all honesty, it is relative to the position, division, and athlete. Most of the time, coaches will not even ask for game stats. There are some coaches, though, that love to have that information. Majority of coaches will, however, ask for physical stats. So this information is something that you will want to know. So that's it for stats today, guys. If you're still confused or want to go deep into the rabbit hole on stats, be sure to check out my free webinar at janiebolte.com so you can get your hands on that stat system for yourself. And make sure you also check out the other video that I posted on the 3 main types of video coaches want to see.